Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Hello there, and welcome to the program. Good to be here with you today. It's a Tuesday, and that's why I'm assuming my sister's on. Hello?
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay. Back in Green Bay?
I'm back in Green Bay for a couple of days, then heading back up, then heading back down.
You can do that drive in your sleep.
I can. But it's a good thing that I'm going back for a couple of days because I remember everything I forgot to do before I left.
Oh, God. Okay, so we got lots to talk about, but we're going to start, we'll start slow with just something slowly with, am I the only one who's having this problem? It doesn't seem like it'd be I keep getting other people's mail, and I mean delivered to my mailbox. Talking snail mail.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you ever?
Well, I get lots of mail for people, not me, but it's addressed to my house.
No.
So,
well, that's not it.
I mean, like the previous owner, and then the one that really gets me is my late husband.
You're still getting stuff.
Yeah, who's never been associated with this address ever.
Right. Well, jeez. Well, I keep getting. I mean, it's not constant, but I've never had this problem before. A lot of it is my neighbor's email. So somehow I get, they just aren't sorting it right. And but still, I gotta then, you gotta
go deliver their mail.
I gotta deliver the mail. And I have now found out where all my neighbors have their mail. And it's not always obvious. It's not often at the front door. Sometimes it's inside a garage door. But anyway, I found my way, and I'm always worried when I go that I'll look like I'm somebody who's breaking into their house. And now knowing you're on camera all the time, right? Thinking, who is that strange woman looking around our front door? But I'm also getting mail that has nothing to do with me. I mean, I'm looking at one now, and it's already stamped. It's been canceled. Can I drop that back in a mailbox and hope it gets? Yeah, just write on misdelivered.
Circle the address and say misdelivered.
Okay, that's what I'll do then. Because I have no idea where this is supposed to go.
Just put it back out in your box for your letter carrier.
Yeah.
Because that's the person that's misdelivering all the mail.
I know. Well, I think he gets rattled because every time he comes, the dog hits the door, going 90 miles an hour and barking like he's going to rip the guy's head off. So I can see why the mailman might be like, ah! Even though the dog's not coming through the door, whatever. So, well, thank you, Susan. That helps. That's what I'll do.
May all your dis-ease be that easily dealt with.
Yeah, right, indeed. Okay, so I came on this story, and I just want to. This is sure to get your dander up, but I don't want to. I mean, I'm just.
You aren't trying, but it might happen.
No, and I just, it's so outrageous a story. And it involves a woman who's a reporter in Georgia, I think, Alabama. I get all those states mixed up. They're all
the same. Is this the one whose skirt is too short?
Yes. Did you see, first of all, anybody who's got
there are etiquette rules about what one can wear to an execution.
Yeah, right. Okay. So here's first of all, in telling the story, I realized I cannot give you this woman's name because it is unpronounceable. If you've got a pencil or pen, here's her last name. There is one. It's figure out how to do this. Hrynkiw.
Hrynkiw.
Excuse me?
Hrynkiw.
Hrynkiw?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. You think? You sure?
Well, there was a St. Louis. That's a Hungarian or something. It's one of those Slavic countries.
Some kind of.
And there was a cardinal, a baseball cardinal who had Al Rabowski. Remember him? His name started with an HR.
Okay, and so the H is silent. Hrynkiw. Okay, maybe. All right. Jeez. You know, when I was a kid and had to learn to spell my name was Miller. That's pretty easy. Mine
was Susan Beth Miller. It was not a challenge.
No. But imagine having a name like, where there's just nothing but a series of consonants. Geez. Anyway, so this woman with the unfortunate name, the reporter, showed up to witness an execution, which I have to tell you is an assignment I never had.
I wouldn't want, right.
And if I had, I would have refused. There is no way I would want to watch somebody die. I'm sorry. I mean, if I didn't have to. But this woman had done that many times. And she shows up and they tell her skirt was too short. Even though, for some reason, I guess this is her execution outfit, she'd worn the same skirt for 6 other executions she'd reported on. In the article, they never say how short. That's what I was.
No, they don't say how short. And, this particular about to be dead person might have had some real rules about how short women's skirts could be.
No. No. This poor soul, whoever he was, who's no longer here. Anyway, she was told by some jerk that her skirt was too short and it violated the prison's dress code. So it's the next part that just blew me away. She tried to pull her skirt down.
Right.
And they said, no, too short. This is all happening in front of her fellow journalists, all of whom are there to witness a person die, which I cannot even imagine. Then a photographer who was there, wait a minute. Why would a photographer be there? You've never seen a picture of an execution, have you?
No, maybe he was there to photograph her skirt.
No, well, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, a photographer was there and he said, hey, I've got some rain gear. And he went and fetched his waterproof fisherman's waders. And damn if she didn't put them on. And the prison official said, okay. Except when she was strapping on the suspenders of the waders, this is the one that I screamed. She was then told that her open-toed heels, in other words, it wasn't her toes, she was wearing shoes that had a strap on the back, exposing her heel. That was too revealing.
Okay, they didn't want that girl in there.
What kind of unbelievable harassment is this? And it makes itself so absurd, So right. She's already standing there looking like an idiot in some guy's waders.
Well, aren't the waders covering up her shoes?
Yeah, I was confused by that too, because waders
end in boots.
Well, that's what I thought, but obviously not these. These are waders for people.
These are pants that tuck into something else.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know what.
Doesn't make any sense.
And she then goes running out to her car and finds a pair of tennis shoes that she had in the car and put those on. So she looks like a clown at this point.
But damn it, she's going to do her job.
Yeah, but she did her job. And this is the kind of stuff that,
yeah, well, you're right.
A job.
Just, I mean, we have discussed this. I am so tired of what has now just become a totally obvious war on women. And
it's just constant.
It's constant. And I mean, honestly, I think the first thing that we have to do is stop being what we've been culturally made to do. We got to stop being so nice. We got to stop apologizing. We got to stop treating men like they're cute and we think everything they do is just wonderful, because guess what? You're not, and we don't. We just act like we do. I was watching the Paul Newman thing with Mother last night, yesterday, and Gore Vidal talking about Joanne being such a good actress, but then he says, women, of course, start out as actresses. That is what we require of them as a society.
I love them. Yeah. Yeah.
And, number one rule, let's all stop that.
Okay.
Number two rule, I think that men have to face the consequences of the laws that they are writing. And I think they have to think about them in conjunction with each other. So let's go to Florida, shall we? Where they have a very clear stand your ground law. And I was listening to a report about it a couple of days ago, and it is so clear that you don't have to prove that you had a right to be in fear. You just have to be in fear.
That's right. You just have to be scared and have a gun.
So let's put that on one side. Now let's be a woman in Florida, or a gay person in Florida, or a trans person in Florida,
or a black person,
in Florida. I would suggest that you would have a perfect legal right to find yourself in actual fear for your life, given the policies of that government, and have an argument under the stand your ground rule to blow them all away.
So what? So you want to?
If I'm a woman of reproductive age and I am afraid for my very life, it is reasonable. That is not unreasonable. It is reasonable. I'm a gay person. They have just made laws that say you can't even talk about me. That puts me in real fear.
Yeah. Okay. So any woman in a situation who, you started by saying we should stop being so polite.
That's right.
Now you're saying we should gun people.
I'm saying in Florida we have the right to do that.
Well, there's plenty of states where they have the right to do that.
No, but Florida is particularly open about this and has litigated this very thing.
Oh, my God. I remember when these laws first came out, I think it was Florida's law. And I said, the real name, it shouldn't be called stand your ground. These are called shoot a black person for free laws.
That's what they are.
That's what these are.
But I think that women ought to take this to heart. I think Ron DeSantis is a threat to us all.
Okay. Well, Susan, for your
I'm not calling for anything. This is totally hypothetical. This is totally hypothetical, which in legal circles is the way you do it. You say, hypothetically, how would the law treat this?
Yeah. That's like in legal circles where you say, I don't remember that.
Oh, no, I have no clear memory of that phone call where I was cowering under my chair and I was talking to the President of the United States. I have no memory of that.
How'd you know I was thinking about McCarthy? Yeah. He says he doesn't remember phone calls that he made when he was scared out of his mind, calling everyone he could think of to save him. Oh, my God. I don't recall. I made a lot of calls then. I don't remember that. So, okay. Well,
right,
too,
and Josh Hawley is a surprise on Putin's side again.
Well, yeah. In regard to
he's against NATO allowing Sweden and Finland in.
Oh dear. Hey, in Missouri, where
Trump has endorsed Eric.
Yes, there's a primary today, and Trump, because you have to admit that is.
Well, it's smart because he's for one of the two Erics and not for the woman.
I know. So there's three possibles, and two of the men are both named Eric, and he endorsed Eric.
Let me tell you, and just to remind you who each of these Erics are. One is Eric Greitens, the disgraced ex-governor who was thrown out after he tied up his mistress and took pictures of her and threatened her
to blackmail her and
tried to make
assaulted his wife.
He considers those to be great credentials for Senate run. And then the other one is the Missouri Secretary of State, who has spent the whole time as Secretary of State suing the United States government on behalf of Texas, suing Pennsylvania for their certification, suing. That's all he's been doing.
Yeah. Well.
And then there's a woman, and then because Senator Danforth, who is coming under scathing reviews in Missouri, because first he gave us Clarence Thomas, and then
this is
he gave
former Missouri Senator Danforth,
who is revered, as this wonderful, incredible guy.
He's like a moderate Republican.
Yeah, Clarence Thomas was the first thing that he threw at us. And Josh Hawley was his pick. Wow.
So much for him.
So now he's running the guy that was one of the Republican attorneys for the January 6th as an independent. It's very interesting to, pay attention. And in Kansas, if you want to keep abortion in the Constitution, you have to vote no. They always do this on purpose, and you have to have people standing out in front of every poll. If you are pro-choice, vote no. If you are pro-choice, vote no.
And because, they do. They do this, and
they write it upside down and backwards and use as many negatives as they can.
That's right. Yeah. So that you get mixed up and you don't vote as you intend to vote. Oh, dear. Okay, so.
And one more election fun fact. Mother, who voted absentee in Wisconsin for the person who running against Ron Johnson, it was such a crowded field that before the primary,
two of them dropped out.
Three of them dropped off, and one of which was the woman that Mother voted for. So she can actually go back in and vote again.
Cool.
Which I haven't told her about, but I'm going to take her over there.
Well, no, she needs to do it and needs to vote for
Mandela Barnes.
Mandela Barnes. So that's going to be so that's the potential Democratic pickup of a Senate seat in Wisconsin, where the loathsome Senator Ron Johnson, who said he would not run for re-election, is of course running for re-election. And there was a very crowded Democratic field, and now it appears it will be the current. Is he the Attorney General of Wisconsin, Mandela Barnes? Who I have to tell you, that's
it worries
strange.
Me.
Why? Because it's a racist state, and he's black.
Yes. That's worries me because he's a racist state and he's black, and it's a racist state based on just total ignorance. 90% of the state hasn't, actually come in contact with an African American.
Okay, so it worries me. But I want to say this. This is also a state that has, as its other senator, an openly lesbian.
Yeah.
And has for some time.
And she's wonderful. Tammy Baldwin.
Tammy Baldwin. And also, this is a state that even before Tammy Baldwin elected as its senator, a Jew.
Yeah.
Actually, has done two Jews, Henry Cole and Russ Feingold. So, where there are very few Jews as well. So let's hope that
I'm very hopeful.
Barnes. Yeah,
I'm very hopeful.
Yeah. I mean, it's
and there's some good reporting, coming out of Wisconsin too, like the ex-Supreme Court justice that has been leading the, teamed with Vox. There's an email that just came out that his actual opinion was that it was all bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's every time we get one of these private commissions that just says this man has been out in public lying.
Yes, it's very helpful. So, Suze, as long as we're talking about the horrors of our government, I just want to.
I've been feeling hopeful.
Yes. Well, one of the reasons you've been feeling hopeful is because of the unbelievable, I don't want any attention mansion reversal, right?
Right.
And the
cinema's still holding out, however.
That's right. There's climate tax. And so everybody is whooping it up. And I said, I'm going to not celebrate here for a while because this is not a done deal. And the Times today makes very clear what this thing has to still go through to make it. The first being what Susan just said. Excuse me, but I have to say it. Fucking cinema.
Do I have to?
No. She is so vile.
They're all vile.
No, they're not all vile.
Well, when I say that, I'm talking about the people who suddenly the power takes over the rationality.
Well, I don't know. I think she just must be a terrible human being. I mean, she turned on her supporters almost immediately. I mean, people who voted for her, put her in that seat, did so because of the expectations she had allowed them to believe that she would be representing them in these ways. And she just turned on a dime the minute she got in.
She was just started talk about false flags.
Yeah, and she's a grifter. She's making money. Anyway, so Christian cinema. And I wouldn't put it past her. You cannot put it past her. Okay, then here's another thing. Every Democrat, let's say cinema decides, okay, I'll do it. Then you got all the Democrats plus Kamala Harris makes 51. And this is one of those things, don't even ask me, where the filibuster cannot come into play, which is why 51 is all you need. I want to say one thing. COVID.
Yep.
If one, and they're going, the president now the second time around, if when they vote, any of those Democrats, including the vice president, is positive for COVID, they cannot be there to vote. And
there should be a way that they can call in and vote.
They cannot vote. They cannot. The Senate rules are intended to ensure that nothing ever can get done. That's what Senate rules are for. So there's that. Now, with COVID, that's an equal opportunity. So it could be some Republicans go down. And we want, hey, there's an idea. We wouldn't even need cinema if a few...
yeah, right. I mean, Republicans get sick.
So, okay, but then there's all these other things. Listen to this. I'm gonna read it because I couldn't paraphrase this to save my soul. Before voting on final passage, though, senators will have to sit through 20 hours of debate. Do you believe that? And actually, they are told to stay hydrated, wear comfortable shoes, bring snacks, a blanket for your lap as it often gets cold in the chamber at night. What bull? Okay, so 20 pages. And then if a Republican, and surely this will happen, is annoyed that it looks like this thing's going to pass, a Republican could stand up and force the clerk to read the entirety of the bill out loud. The bill is 725 pages. It's like, okay, now we will have War and Peace read to us before we can vote. And they can do that.
Well, the rule has to be that the guy who asked for it has to sit there and listen to the whole thing.
All right. And then there's this amendment thing where Republicans will throw out any amendment that they can think of to trip it up, right?
Yep.
And Manchin, by the way, has not explicitly said whether he will vote against all Republican amendments. Oy! I just want to say, let's not get ahead of ourselves in terms of, but I know what you meant when you said you've been feeling some good stuff's been happening. The price of gas has come way down. We knocked off this jerk.
That jerk, yes. I mean, there's just something so, weird about a drone coming in and taking, a little buzzy airplane just comes in and takes you out.
Let me tell you about that, though. I saw a picture of what it was that took him out so cleanly that he, standing on a balcony in a crowded, large city, center of a crowded, large city, could be killed and no one else in that building armed.
Right.
Now, how the F do you do that? Well, I found out. The drone the drone is flying over. The drone has a laser, blah, 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 and releases a missile that's directed at him as he stands on the balcony, which they knew he had a habit of doing. And that missile, as it approaches him, it does not have explosives on it. It deploys right before the hit this fan-like device, a bunch of scissor-like blades shoots out of it. And that's what
he dies by 1,000 cuts.
Yes! Is that not amazing? That's why the
poetic justice.
Oh my God! Why didn't they report that? I just saw that on Twitter, and somebody put out the picture of the thing. Whoa! And here's the other thing. That timing of that takedown, juxtaposed with the weekend's Saudi golf tournament at Trumpville,
where Trump
actually said, "What? We haven't got the
we haven't gotten to the bottom of this yet. We don't know that the Saudis had anything to do with it.
We don't know who did it.
But this is just ridiculous. You should read about it."
Yeah. And then, bango, we take out.
Well, he was overcome with grief. He just planted Ivanka by the first tee.
I understand. And I do want, when I saw that.
Actually, to what level would this group, and how come he's in charge of his ex-wife's remains, I'd like to know.
Yeah, you tell
what
me.
Kind of children is it that sells their mother's body to their father for a tax break.
Okay.
Who knows
Yeah.
how much money crossed hands between the whole family members to get this. It just makes me want to, excuse the expression, puke. Ugh.
What? We say excuse the expression puke and not excuse the expression fuck?
Yeah, right.
Well, listen, I did not. So I learned about all this. For those of you who didn't know exactly what Susan's talking about, this is just the latest Trump grift, because by planting Ivanka there, he established a cemetery.
No, it's Ivana, I think.
Oh, Ivana. Who did I say?
Ivanka.
Well, she's next. I mean, they're all supposed to get buried there.
Oh, yeah. Family plot by the first
The family plot by the first T. But by virtue of doing this, he gets this ridiculous tax break.
Well, the golf club is no longer a golf club. It's a cemetery. So you're released from property taxes, from, a whole bunch of other things.
How is that fucking possible? Excuse me.
Well, did you read the part about how because they cut up a tree and used the tree for mulch, they declared a whole other part of it a farm and it gets its own things? There's no farming going on. They just cut down a tree and use mulch. Now, once the reporting happens, if somebody doesn't get on the state about allowing this, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. So you too can be buried there, not in the family plot with Ivana.
Whole different place.
But they have a 200 acre.
It's called an eternal membership at the golf club.
You cannot make up the tawdriness of this family.
You really can't. It's like if you wrote this as part of a bad movie, they'd go, that's taking it too far. Yeah. So, Dana Milbank in the Post today writes, he has turned his late ex-wife and his children have turned their late mother into a tax dodge. And he quotes us a tax, what's called a tax optimization specialist. This is the kind of thing rich people can afford. And the New Jersey tax code, absolutely offers a trifecta of tax avoidance for this cemetery. Property tax avoidance, income tax, and sales tax all eliminated. Her body makes 3 forms of tax vanish. Unbelievable. And they even and people were already wondering if someone pushed her.
And there's a headstone. He's already got the headstone, and it's just a flat marker that says Ivana Trump, February 20, 1949, July 14, 20. Nothing else. Why would that? These people, and she, who was she was the one who loved all the opulence and stuff. She wouldn't have agreed to this. She would have wanted a huge mausoleum. And speaking of a huge mausoleum, I believe on the cemetery part of Bedminster that we could all be buried in. I don't know if it exists yet. There are plans to build a huge mausoleum or chapel.
Right, and you can use it for weddings too.
Why would you want to be buried in a cemetery?
I know. Why? I mean, that caught my eye too. Funerals and weddings. Well, that's a deal. God, again, you cannot. If you were tripping on acid and on every possible drug known to man. Or a dead body or two.
Jeez.
A tombstone or two. He did not look good. He looked like a double wide at that golf tournament.
Yeah, he's gained weight. Well, I'm sure he's under some stress. Anyway, I love the last the last paragraph of Milbank's column, so I'm going to read it to you. He's thinking about all the people that could be buried at Bedminster. And then he goes on. And while we're at it, here's some other possible institutions which we can bury at the Trump National Memorial Park. The FBI, the judiciary, the Republican Party,
the Department of Homeland Defense, the Secret Service.
That's right. Free elections, equal justice. And while we're at it, the truth. Bury the truth there too. And in the center, with an eternal flame, would be a simple stone marker, as spare and unsentimental as the one he put on Ivana's grave. American democracy. July 4, 1776 to January 6, 2021. Wonderful. You know, when a great nation comes to this kind of tawdry end, it's humiliating.
This is humiliating.
It's just humiliating. I can't even. Humiliating.
And the people still want them. You know, the people, I just don't understand.
They want them as much as they want to give us the finger. I don't think they. I don't know. What do I know? They've lost their friggin' marbles. Yeah, unbelievable. Roger writes, my wife has been having difficulty sleeping these days. She can't shut her brain off. Yeah, tell me. In the middle of the night, she turns on mindless television and watches animal doctor shows like Dr. Paul. I don't know that. A common theme is male animals, especially bulls and dogs. What? Come on, Roger. So now he gets in. And what do they do when they become too violent? They chop their balls off. My wife thinks society has a lot to learn from these shows.
Is this poor guy getting a little nervous? I'd sleep with an eye open, sir. No, but you know, a lot of women are. I've been talking to women. A lot of women are having, violent. I think people underestimate what it feels like to have a right taken away. Yeah. Indeed. And speaking of that, front page New York Times today, just another in the continuing series of horror stories that individual American women are going to be enduring because of this right taken away. There's a story about a young woman, and she's what? She's like 19 weeks pregnant. I mean, she was well in, and they were doing a sonogram, and they found out that she was told that the baby was probably going to be not right, but that it might be, okay. And she said, that's okay, whatever I have to do, that it might be developmentally. She said, that's fine. Whatever is intended is intended. Then she goes back in for another sonogram, and she is told that the sonogram shows that her baby is a girl, and it has no skull. Hey.
It has no skull. Which is to say that it will not live more than a few, minutes, whatever. It will be born and will die. And she decided she would have to, well, they told her she was still willing to deliver that child, to go through that and deliver the child. But then the doctors told her that it looked like something, I forget what, was leaking from the baby into her placenta, which could create sepsis and infection and could kill her dead. And that she needed to have an abortion to save her own life. And then the doctors told her that she'd have to go somewhere else, leave the state.
Because we can't save your life.
Because, no, they technically could. Their law, I guess, said for the mother's life, you could do it. But they got scared.
Right.
Because she wasn't near death right then. They just knew there was a real good shot this could kill her. And the baby was a goner anyway. And they were afraid. And so she and her parents and her fiance and his parents got in two cars and drove and drove and drove till they got to this clinic in Georgia. Now, I'm surprised there's a clinic in Georgia that's actually still doing it. And listen to this. These are the last paragraphs of this story. Here's from the first paragraph, when she's lying on the ultrasound table and they're telling her that she could die and the baby definitely could not survive. And she was then told, but we can't give you the abortion. And she said, I was lying there saying, you mean they're just going to let me die?
Yeah.
Okay, so then, no, they get in the car and they drive and drive and drive and get to this Georgia clinic. Now, the staff at the Georgia clinic had warned them about the protesters. And sure enough, as they pulled into the parking lot, they were driving by guys with signs with dead fetuses. And he was shouting into a megaphone at them, are you all okay with killing your baby? And that same guy approached the car with her mother and father in it. And her mother rolled down the window and said, we're on the same side of this as you. We are. We don't support abortion. But the baby's going to die. My daughter could die. And this guy says to her, you trust doctors more than you trust God? The last line is, the couple walked side by side up a steep hill to the clinic entrance. She wore headphones to drown out the protesters.
It's disgusting. And the interesting thing to me is that's that story. I've heard a total different story. Same story.
Yeah,
woman's dying, baby's already dead. But
right,
the doctors won't, and there's an ethics committee meeting to try and decide whether, because their rules require that she gets so close to death
that there's no question
that they'll die.
So they already gone. Why would it be? It's just terrible. So in this particular case, so many women.
This was Texas. In this particular case, a doctor at the other end of the state called in to advocate and with the ethics committee, and she got a phone call at the last minute saying she could go back to the hospital, by which time she was running 104 fever and close to death.
Yeah, there. That's right.
So, good work. Good work. This is to get back to my hypothetical. There is good reason to feel that people are trying to harm women in general.
Yeah.
And the response to it is to give rights to everyone but women. And I'm getting tired of it. Women are just going to be stuck here until we figure out that we need to take our fate into our own hands, get our rights back, and make it clear to the whole country that we aren't, 5/6 of a human being or 2/3 of a human being, or in this case, not a human being. Just an incubator.
I think also, though, we need to be careful about framing this starkly as women and men, because
it's not women and men. There's women that are doing this to us.
That's right. So many of these zealots and these religious zealots and would-be authoritarians, and you see them now running on the Republican side, are women.
Yeah, well, they got to read. They need to read Genesis, the origin story of the Second Testament. And in Genesis, it says that life starts when God breathes breath, and Adam took a breath. And so, according to our religion, life starts at birth. So there.
Well, according to some in our religion, the Jews are not ever in agreement.
Well, I get by rabbis. That's my right.
Nobody knows. It is a religious belief.
It's nonsense.
And as we said, the Pilgrims and the founding fathers were believed that life did not begin until what's called quickening, when a fetus is moving around and the woman feels that's a lot different than.
That's basically Roe. That's basically Roe.
That's basically Roe. And in fact, Ben Franklin wrote a pamphlet on abortion remedies. Jesus.
Yeah, it's very. No, I don't mean to suggest that there aren't plenty of men that are, all for women's rights. I don't mean to suggest that, but and I don't mean to suggest that there aren't women that don't know what's in their own best interest. But we're supposed to go back to the days that you get married, and if your husband beats you, well, suck it up. Big deal.
Well, who was that? I forget. There was a candidate. Who was that? A candidate just flat out saying that women should stay married to men who beat. Oh, it was J.D. Vance in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Just flat out saying that it's women leaving marriages that aren't easy, that have created the situations of the declining American family and blah, 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 and that women should stay in abusive situations.
Well, but that's been the rule.
Where did I read somewhere? It's an expectation that women should endure, pain and abuse and all of
with a smile and a thank you and an apology. If we don't do it with a smile and a thank you.
And then think of all the men, the white men right now, who are feeling victimized because, I don't know.
Wear a mask, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. What? Right, babies. Anyway, I want to head to the library here. I got two notes on the library front. And this probably has a lot to do with women, since the vast majority of librarians are still, I think, women, probably. Librarians in Oklahoma have been put on notice that they risk jail time and a $10,000 fine if they help customers find information about abortion.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
You cannot make it up. Oklahoma's library system. Okay. Oklahoma's library system has advised staff that with abortion now illegal statewide, they should avoid even speaking the word abortion. And be wary, because some people might be trying to trick them into saying abortion so they can be reported.
Well, just use the word camping or interruption of menses.
Yeah, there it is. Librarians in Oklahoma risk termination, jail time, and a $10,000 fine if they help anybody find any information about abortion. Okay, and here's another librarian thing. Montana, ladies and gentlemen, Montana State Library Commission has rejected a proposed new logo, which, by the way, cost $130,000 to create. A logo. You know, you have to get a graphics person. You have a committee. You got to look. You got to decide this one or that one. So they spent $130,000 to come up with this logo. And the logo is a prism breaking light into its component colors. And the head of the Montana State Library Commission says, no, we cannot. We cannot allow that.
That's like pride. That's like gay pride.
That's right.
Oh my God.
We cannot have rainbows. You cannot have prisms with colors coming out of them because, as she put it, this is a very political, explosive weapon, she said. Yeah. Hey, you tell me, is it just me? Why the hell is Nancy Pelosi going to effing Taiwan?
She wants to poke the bar. I don't know.
Why?
I think we got enough issues. I don't get it. I don't think she should go.
Yeah, well, I don't either. And who does think she should? People who like making things even more. We got a friggin' war in Ukraine with Russia. She wants to poke the China bear now too. What is that about?
I don't know.
I don't think of her as somebody who's politically,
who grandstands like this.
No, but what is the grandstanding? It's hawkish. She's not going to help. This is not helping the people in Taiwan. If anything, it's putting them in danger. It's not helping us. In fact, it's costing us a lot. What did I hear? There's the Navy.
Yeah, I don't understand. I do not understand the calculus. I agree with you.
The oceans around there. So what is the point? We need to have another front to be worried about? Jeez. What the hell?
Yeah, I would say to Nancy something that I don't usually say, but come on home. We need to protect our own freedom before you start advertising that we're for yours.
God,
we're losing our freedoms here, Nance. Come on back.
Wait, she's there.
Yeah, I know she's there. I knew she was on her way.
No, I didn't. So
I
she's
did.
touched down. Well, good for you. She's touched down in Taiwan.
Yep.
Fuck. Stupid. And of why bother? this kind of performative stagecraft that does nothing. And here's another indication that it's not right. The people who seem to be for it are all the fucking Republicans who love wars. Damn. Upsetting to me.
I know it is. I can see.
Okay. Yeah. So, and speaking of upsetting, did you see what the UN Secretary General said?
No.
He said, you know, the world's been really lucky now. But luck is not a plan. He said, humanity is just one misunderstanding, one miscalculation away from nuclear annihilation. You know, we forget about that.
No, some people forget about that.
Well, here's the head of the UN saying, you know, if you think about it, and things are heating up all over the place right now. Nancy, are you hearing me? And no. And he was saying we are looking at a globe that is as close to nuclear war as it has been since the height of the Cold War. Another reason why Nancy's little trip is absurd. China's got nukes. Putin's already been saber rattling with his. Good God. Oh.
No, it's I have a psychoanalyst friend that just wrote a paper on this very thing.
Oh, right. You told me this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she's scared of everything.
Yeah, but
hey, have you
lately she's been absolutely correct.
God forbid.
Well, she's the one that got me N95 masks back at the very beginning beful we knew about the pandemic to get Mother and me
home. Right about that. So listen, and this is a tweet that I took a picture of and kept because I did not understand one word of it. I have since learned what at least it's talking about. But listen to this tweet. My attitude will forever be stank. What does stank mean? S-T-A-N-K. My attitude will forever be stank to how non-black disabled folks have engaged with Lizzo and now Beyonce when it comes to ableist language. Misrepresenting your anger in this way is unforgivable. Fully noted and seen. Okay, so I thought, what the F? So this has to do with
using the word spaz.
Then I learned that today. This has to do with Lizzo had a new song out where she used the word spaz and was told by the, I don't know what I used to call it, disabled community, but that's not right. The differently abled, whatever, because some community to say that is, an affront to us. And so she took it out. She changed the word. And then right on her heels, Beyonce's new album's got spaz in it too.
But it means
spaz meaning something else.
It means something totally different.
But Beyonce has caved too and has taken it out. But whatever this woman was pissed about, she was pissed about non-black disabled folks engaging with, I don't even understand it when it comes to ableist. Like, I can't keep up with what I'm allowed to be outraged about, what I'm supposed to be outraged about, where you apologize.
Yeah, well, here's my advice to you is just be outraged about that which outrages you. Everybody is outraged about something, and we're all going to outrage someone. And apparently we all have permission to do so because we live in the age of microaggressions. Now, this is the only thing that I'm going to argue the other side of the smile, and be a nice woman coin, which is there are certain things that shouldn't make us blow up. Everything, and there is nuance, and everything doesn't have to be of the same explosive outrage. You can always say, that's sort of not nice. Where I come from, that word means this.
Yeah. All right. I understand it.
I understand it. If, for example, the word, I don't know, let's use kike. If kike decided to suddenly mean something else, it would still offend me.
Jesus, Susan, you had to come up with that.
Well, I'm trying to come up with a similar word. And I'm one that would offend me no matter what. So there's my.
All right. Well, on that lovely word, we're over time, Susan.
Oh, okay. Could have cut me off.
All right.
Okay, bye, sister. See you soon.
Yeah, I know. God help us all. All right. Thanks, Suze.
Bye.
Okay, bye. And thanks, you guys. I'll be back tomorrow. Jesus, Nancy. Unbelievable.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.